have 3 BlizzCon champions on their team. I mean, come on.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, Northern Gaming Blue are looking to get that BlizzCon title. I think Minpoike has been to BlizzCon more than once, and he's tried his best to do it. And now this year, they're looking very strong. Obviously, moving into Legion, this composition matchup might not even happen, so their knowledge is going to have to expand into the regional tournament itself. But pretty standard specialization for Minpoike there, as would be expected. Looks like the game is about to start, so this is a best of 5 between Northern Gaming Blue and Toxic Youth for the Grand Championship and European Qualifier Cup. Number 3, Botar laying down some heal over times, jumping into stealth, getting away from his team, so he's spacing himself very far away right now. Swapsy getting ready for his attack, getting that healing rain down the ground, trying to get as much healing out as possible when they launch their attack. Was expecting Botar to be in the room, but Botar kind of baits that out. Swapsy now getting sapped. Blizzo might go for the Blade Storm here. It looks like he's holding on to it for a little bit longer, but that means they get the cheap shot very cleanly here. Botar preemptively drops those Force of Nature Trents with the Iron Bark. Looks like Swapsy's trying to hold on to his Shamanistic Rage. This is a different decision than we've seen him usually do. He usually trades his Shamanistic Rage with this setup as well, but he's trying to be greedy. He's down to 20%, and the greed is not going to be enough. 14% HP, 6% HP, Rallying Cry is barely enough. He's down to 10. Press Shamanistic Rage. He's down to 8%. I cannot believe this greed. He gets cloned at 5%, 4%. Swapsy! Oh my god, Northern Gaming Blue are doing so much damage, and Swapsy, I guess, was saying, no, Iron Bark is enough. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And he just goes down without using it, and Northern Gaming Blue take a quick game 1.
And actually, maybe he should have used it late because
the overlap, so it might be better to just not use it at all. Get the Trents down, get some Hots up, and then expect to use Shamanistic Rage, and then save the Iron Bark for a setup later when the damage will be lower.
Yep, so they could certainly do that. Or, I mean, overlapping hasn't really been hurting them either. It means that when NG Blue commit everything, they just trade out the Vigilance anyways. So either way, I just think they'll use more cooldowns earlier on. We see Dalaran Arena as the map choice for Toxic Youth. Can they pull a game in this series? It would be quite sad to see them go 6 or 0-6 against NG Blue in the grand final. I know that their score would not reflect how skilled these players are, of course. I think this is definitely, both of these teams, in fact, are going to be fantastic ones to watch in Legion because they're so adaptive and so mechanically gifted. We'll have to see how Toxic Youth can do in these games, though. Swapsy opened up on not trading out the Shamanistic Rage. There is that Shamanistic Rage. So Kidney, not actually used by Waz just yet, I believe. Maybe they're going to do a swap over to someone else. We'll have to see. Maybe Swapsy just dodged it or something along these lines. The blind comes out, trinketed by Botar. Pretty standard opener from Toxic Youth. No shenanigans pulled this time, and NG Blue just going to back off for now.
Yeah, that start looked a lot more standard from Toxic Youth. There was no scary moments. Botar gets to hold on to his Iron Bark for a setup later on with much less damage output. Raiku's just kiting away. Smoke Bomb gets a drop. They're setting up a kill on Swapsy. Swapsy trinkets out of that Smoke Bomb. They don't manage to get the Ring of Frost there, so Botar will connect that Iron Bark to save Swapsy, keep him aggressive here. Raikou is down to about half HP. Minpoike decides to boost his healing with his Heart of the Wild. That should allow him to deal with this pressure pretty easily. And I would imagine that Toxic Youth are going to wait for the Heart of the Wild to fade. Then they're going to use their Ascendance and Recklessness, pair those together to try and combo somebody out. Blizzo getting cloned up by Minpoike kind of early. This isn't usually when you would expect the setup. I'm wondering if they can keep that chain going, because if Blizzo isn't CC'd, he'll be able to disrupt Raikou. Charge Stone over on Minpoike. They're looking to try and kill him. They get the Iron Bark out of him before the Ascendance now as well. If they can manage to get his Trinket or his Bark Skin, they might be able to just completely annihilate him. Here comes an attack from Northern Gaming Blue. Nice save from Raikou. He knew Blizzo was on DR for Cyclone, so he goes for the Polymorph instead. He's got Botar caught in a ring. Minpoike goes for the follow-up. Swapsy stops it. Really nice wind shear from Swapsy, breaking up that chain. Botar should be able to save Swapsy now. He's still down to about half. Looks like they're setting up a kill on Minpoike. Ascendance gets popped. Minpoike jumps down below, barely getting some big regrowth off on himself. Goes for that Tranquility to heal Waz as they do make a swap over. They're just killing him through combat readiness. I don't think they're going to be able to finish him off. Blizzo knows that. Leaps over onto Raikou, and Swapsy turns his turret over there as well to dish out some wind strikes. They've got Raikou down to half HP. They'd really like to get an ice block with that, but unfortunately Raikou able to kite very effectively. Might still have to do it. Blizzo's doing quite a bit of damage. Blazing Speed comes out from Raikou. Waz coming up with the cheap shot, but the pre-Iron Bark out from Botar should deflect a lot of this pressure, and they don't actually get any real CC. Minpoike gets the full clone. Really well done from Minpoike. They're trying to commit more damage to Swapsy. He sees it coming, trades out that Gift of the Gnar that will boost his health by quite a lot. And now that Botar is no longer CC'd, he should be able to heal through this. He should be able to. I say that though, Waz and Raikou do so much pressure, and they've still got him low on HP. He's not Shawmridging again, and he's just going to die. 1% HP remaining. Blizzo saves the day with a Rallying Cry, boosting him back up, but that's a full polymorph on Botar. Rallying Cry is ticking down. They have now been forced to use Vigilance at the same time as well. Botar caught into a full blind with no trinket, and Swapsy is still relatively alone. He's at 50%, a little bit more damage. Doesn't look like they have it, and Swapsy should be able to survive. Maybe not. They keep the chain going with that half Cyclone. Botar now finally out of crowd control, connecting those heals and saving the day.
Yeah, scary situation for Toxic Youth. They used all 3 trinkets there. They have nothing left for the next onslaught from NG Blue. So as long as NG Blue do go for this calculated setup, they should be able to convert this one into a 2-0 in their favor. The question is, how does Raikou set it up? The charge done onto Minpoke. They need to get offensive soon. That Shamanistic Rage is up in 15 seconds. That is the timer that they are on for this win. Now the Frostbolt's just kind of coming up, but Waz unable to connect to Swapsy right now. He's just LOSing behind the pillar. He's actually going to make it to the Shamanistic Rage. Another preemptive Iron Bark. Beautiful play by Botar. And maybe they have to overlap it if the Shamanistic Rage. Doesn't look like it though. Can they follow up the Cyclone again? It's going to be quite difficult. Blizzo charges into the Wrath, but he is able to stop that CC, and Toxic Youth survive again for now.
Yep, Raikou is at about 30% health, trying to kite away from the fight. They've got Waz caught in a stun. He actually decided to trinket out. They forced an Ice Block out from Raikou, so Toxic Youth are finally getting some aggressive plays moving forward, but Waz is popping a lot of cooldowns right now to get some damage out. Really expect a kidney shot soon here. Blizzo predicts it and goes for that fear. Waz caught into the charge stun. Are they going to commit the Stormbolt onto him? Doesn't look like they're going to Stormbolt Waz just yet. I guess he wants to hold on to it, wait for that kidney shot. In the meantime, Minpoke was forced to Iron Bark Raikou. They're actually making a swap onto Blizzo. Blizzo has no trinket. How much damage do they have to finish him off? But Botar blinks in, gets the Nature Swiftness. Will that even be enough? Waz getting Stormbolted. Blizzo played that very patiently. He held onto that stun just for that situation to save himself. But even still, killing spree out from Waz. Blizzo uses that die by the sword to deflect the damage. That should be more than enough to keep him alive here. Blizzo played that very patiently. Well done. Toxic Youth now have a lot of defensive cooldowns to keep pushing with.
Yeah, Botar was also very quick into the bomb. He blinked in, got the NS, but he actually tanks a polymorph. This might be big trouble for Toxic Youth. The full kidney onto Swapsy now. Going to trade out the Shamanistic Rage, but this is an unnecessary cooldown for them to have to use. Deep Freeze will still be available for Raikou, and they could even consider swapping over. Botar uses his trinket here, having trinket out of that blind. There's no stun DR on Botar just yet, so they could even go for the kidney shot onto him when it comes up. Raikou just casting out those Frostbolts, still building up his damage here. Certainly an option that NG Blue may well look for. Waz just pulling back, trying to get Toxic Youth to push into them right now. We'll have to see who their target of choice is going to be. They're Cyclone onto Swapsy. I would love to see them maybe go over onto Botar here. Looks like they're maybe going to set up onto Swapsy again. He actually gets sheared.
He cloned Swapsy right as Botar used Iron Bark, so Iron Bark basically went into the abyss, and now Botar doesn't have it to deflect any damage. Blizzo needs to be careful. I would expect Vigilance to be used here. Blizzo's caught into the sheep. Can they get the clone on Botar? Minpoke not able to get that, unfortunately, which means that Botar should be able to just spam heal through the damage, gets all those Force of Nature trees working. It looks like Minpoke is going to knock Blizzo down the ramp, try and kite away. He intervenes back to Minpoke, but Minpoke actually going for a clone in the face of this turbo is taking quite a lot of punishment for it. Does manage to blink away. Waz popping that adrenaline rush. Looks like he wants to make a swap on Blizzo. Maybe just bait the hots off. Nope, they're committing their damage now onto Blizzo. Really surprised to not see him trinket out of this. It's a lot of damage coming out from Northern Gaming Blue. He gets away without trinketing. He saw that Botar wasn't CC'd. Good read from Blizzo. Able to get away without trinketing. In the meantime, Minpoke is sitting in the backline, drinking, getting quite a bit of his mana back, trying to sneak away in stealth now. He wants to drink to full. If Minpoke can get full mana, he'll be able to keep his team so much more aggressive. I would be surprised to not see Raikou maybe trade a block here. Charge stun onto Waz. They're just killing him through evasion, barely staying alive. Minpoke connecting a big heal. Minpoke got full mana. Now we see Botar sitting down for a drink. So both of these teams are playing for a very, very late game. Looks like they're setting up some damage onto Blizzo. Botar sees it coming, tries to deflect it early with this Iron Bark. Will the Iron Bark even be enough? Blizzo might want to preemptively die by the sword here. Waz looks like he's getting ready to set up the attack, but with no CC on Swapsy, Swapsy will be able to support him. Blizzo just running into that Ring of Frost to DR himself on Polymorph. That was a smart idea. Get that DR out of the way. Now Raikou won't be able to sheep him, or at least it'll be half duration. Looks like Blizzo and Swapsy are pushing in. They want to get onto Minpoke. They've got Shawmridge. They've got Blizzo's trinket. This is definitely the time that Toxic Youth need to be aggressive.
Yeah, they certainly do. And like you say, Waz and Minpoke are without trinkets. So if they can set it up, the Ascendant's coming up soon, as is the Recklessness before either of those cooldowns will be available. They definitely have a kill window here. The Botar just caught up into the gouge. Unfortunately, they weren't able to land the Ring of Frost once again. Cyclone followed up by Minpoke. He's been on point with these Cyclones in this series. And Blizzo, he should be able to maybe stop the follow-up Cyclone. He doesn't quite because of the sheep from Raikou. Well played by Raikou. They get the Shamanistic Rage here out of Swapsy. Nothing else will be forced, probably. Actually, the Prep Windwalk coming out from Swapsy as well. He really wants to get offensive onto Minpoke, who's got that bark skin up. Now, Minpoke does not have the bark skin. He does not have the trinket available. And Ascendance is coming up in 15 seconds. That is a way that Toxic Youth can definitely finish out this game. Swapsy will even have his trinket if he wants to offensively. A good vigilance comes out from Blizzo here to ensure they stay alive. They need to get this connection onto Minpoke, who is unable to top himself right now.
Yeah, and Raikou even might just go down. He's down to 20% HP. He's playing very risky here. Does decide to trade the block. Here comes the Ascendant. Minpoke is getting destroyed, and Toxic Youth are looking to strike back, but Blizzo, he will finish him off. Swapsy getting that Lava Lash, finishing the job. Toxic Youth finally able to strike back. They're actually still looking for a kill on Blizzo. They've got him down to 30%. Botar caught into a cheap shot. Can they get the cross kill? Full sheep comes out. Cross kill on Blizzo. He's down to 17%. Barely staying alive. That rallying cry will tick out, but with no CC on Botar, they will be able to stay alive. Definitely a close call. If NG Blue could have stayed alive, they might have been able to just close the game.
Ultimately 1-1. Now, map choice in favor of NG Blue. Where do we think they will go?
Tolvaron Arena, what do you know? Why do we even need to ask
beautiful.
that? We have seen this matchup so many times. When Rogue Mage Druid loses, we go to Tolvaron. So if Toxic Youth can win on this map, they might be able to pull the series back completely in their favor. Looks like they're taking the defensive position. Obviously, Northern Gaming Blue are in stealth, so they're invisible to Toxic Youth, which means that Toxic Youth want to take a defensive position on the pillar. They've got a Mushroom down for that healing circle. They've got a Healing Rain down for that blue healing circle as well. It's just a little bit of extra healing. Waz is sneaking in. Looks like he wants to get a sap, I would imagine. Pretty soon there's the sap on Swapsy. They're trying to find Botar, and Botar's pretty smart about, in the previous series, he was always in the room, and now he's outside of the room, so Waz isn't able to find him. And it doesn't look like they're opening just yet with any stuns. I would expect Blizzo to be cheap shot, but he's actually line of sighting Waz in stealth. It's like he can see him, and Raikou's just getting soloed in the meantime, down to 40% HP. They go in for the attack. Botar preemptively Ironbarks, but as we were saying in the previous game, that Ironbark is never enough on its own in the opener, and they always have to overlap, so I'm wondering if he really needed to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference. This is a pretty normal opener. We'll have to see how NG Blue can punish the fact that Ironbark and Shamanistic Rage is down. Blizzo still has his Vigilance available, which is the big cooldown to save either Botar or Swapsy on the next setup. We'll have to see how NG Blue can set up this next attack with the Frostbots just coming out now. Kind of slow. Raikou pushing in now. He gets the Deep Freeze, but there's no Ring of Frost to follow up. Cyclone, therefore, from Minpoke. Well played by him. The Trinket comes out on the Smoke Bomb, but into the full kidney on Swapsy. He's in a lot of trouble here. The Vigilance unable to land, but it doesn't look like it's needed necessarily. NS is available for Botar when he does get out of the CC. NS does connect up to 60%. Minpoke taking a lot of damage. Ironbark barely in time. He might just go down here through the Ascent to 16%. He actually falls. Unbelievable damage from Toxic Youth. They punish Minpoke so hard for blinking in there to get that Cyclone in the first place, and that was all started by Botar shifting this
kind of burst. And now that we are in a lead for Toxic Youth, they're one game away from being the champions of Qualifier Cup number 3. They looked very strong in that second match. Tiger's Peak going to be the map selection for Northern Gaming Blue. Just a very standard map, not really any advantage here.
Yep, not too unsurprising either. Of course, Tolvaron is the map you expect the RMD to have a slight advantage on, but not when the game goes like that. Super quick victory coming out for Toxic Youth, and now we're back to Tiger's Peak, which is another map which doesn't really have a big advantage to either side. You would expect the RMD to be looking for a similar opener to last time. I think both sides trade for blind. It's like it gives the RMD opportunity to set up onto the sides are perfectly happy if they just get the Shamanistic Rage, the Ironbark, and then the Trinket Druid or the Shaman, but it's also certainly enough that the Turbo Cleave can survive. So we're going to see the exact same opener, Ironbark and Shamanistic Rage, used onto Swapsy. The Botar caught into the full Ring of Frost. Can they follow up with the Cyclone? Actually, it doesn't look like Minpoke. So this is one adaptation. Minpoke hasn't gone for the Cyclone here. He's just playing a little bit more safe. He knows they've forced the two big defensive cooldowns out of Swapsy. They don't actually follow up with the Blind Note either to get the Trinket, which is a little bit curious.
Yeah, you would normally see Waz use blind on Botar here, but they decide to hold it and patiently play that out. Maybe they're going to use blind to bait Blizzo's trinket, make a swap later on. We've seen that, but they actually commit the smoke bomb to Swapsy, and he's just getting completely destroyed. What is going on with this health bar? Down below half HP, he desperately pops his Ascendants to try and counter pressure Minpoike. He forces him away, full blind on Botar, but now he gets his trinket on blind, and Swapsy will have Shaman Rage for the next attack. So normally you get the trinket and the Shaman Rage by using blind at the same time, but here, Waz waited to do it, and now Botar's in such a great position.
Yeah, he really is, and that was the Ascenders coming out from Toxic Youth as well, so they're not going to have that kind of win condition for a long time. That was the way they were able to win Game 1 and Game 2 was down to their Ascendants, actually. I mean, Poike taking a little bit of damage now, but he definitely shouldn't be dying. He has the trinket, has the bark skin. Waz also in a little bit of trouble in that full bash. Swapsy has 100% uptime on Minpoike here. He needs to be a bit careful. No hots on him. Heart of the Wild has to come out as well. Now we see the offensive go from NG Blue with the full Rov onto Botar. Can Minpoike follow up with the Cyclone? It looks like he should be able to. Does land that CC. They do have the Shamanistic Rage on Swapsy, so he should be okay. The question is, can Minpoike follow up the Cyclone? He will not be able to, though. The nice charge coming out from Blizzo into the Stormbot.
So the next play here from Toxic Youth is Blizzo. He needs to be the one to save Swapsy. He has Vigilance and Trinket to activate it, so he should be the one to save him. Let's see if he reacts appropriately. Right now, Toxic Youth don't have any offensive pressure. They're just going after Waz, and Waz, as a rogue with Feint up, can deflect a lot of this damage very easily. Botar sees the attack coming. He preemptively gets the Iron Bark up, but I don't think that Iron Bark will be enough on its own if they chain more CC. Blizzo recognizes that, trades out the Vigilance. He knew that this setup would be a lot of damage as there was no Shamanistic Rage to answer Waz's offensive cooldowns. Botar's still getting chained into CC, but I don't think it's enough. Waz actually commits the killing spree, even with a half-DR polymorph. They've got 5 more seconds on that Shaman Rage. Swapsy in a bit of trouble here. Botar now finally out of CC. Nope, now into the full kidney shot. Swapsy's Shaman Rage is now available, decides to use it. Full bash on Blizzo, and Poike goes for the clone, but he really needs to get the clone on Botar. He gets the clone on Botar. Can they keep the chain going? Swapsy's still in a lot of trouble. He's just flailing around in the middle of the map. They get the half clone. Can Raikou get the sheep out of this? He goes for he gets the full sheep, but Swapsy's cloned up. Maybe Minpoike mistiming this a little bit, but now finally leaving that Cyclone. They should be able to get a lot of damage on Swapsy. He trinkets out, gets that Ancestral Guidance healing, rolling to try and save himself. He's caught into that half kidney shot. Can Minpoike get another clone on Botar? Doesn't think they have the diminishing return. Waz might decide to use maybe a cheap shot or something here. It doesn't look like they have any CC. They use the blind instead. Botar trinkets out of that. Very easy trinket for Botar, as Swapsy will have Shaman Rage coming up in 19 seconds. So I feel like the blinds aren't really that well timed from Waz in this game.
Yeah, he gets the trinket though, and that means they do have the opportunity to win the game here. Perhaps if they can go fast enough, can they get the CC onto Botar? 10 seconds on that Shamanistic Rage. Full Ring of Frost should land here, but Blizzo trinkets, charges the ring. Well played by him. That was definitely necessary. The Gouts to follow up onto Botar. Can they get any more CC? It doesn't look like it. Unfortunately, they're just going to sheep up Swapsy. A very close call for Toxic Youth, but they have survived it. No trinkets available now. The Shamanistic Rage will be up, and as will Vigilance in the near future, I imagine, for Toxic Youth, so they definitely are starting to rotate through, but no trinkets is definitely still not safe on the side of Toxic Youth.
Smoke Bomb is up. I would like to see them pressure Blizzo. Look where Blizzo is. He's in the middle of the map, so far away from his team with no trinket. They could punish him so hard here. I don't think they're going to do it, though. Looks like they want to go on to Swapsy. They don't even have hots on Blizzo. He's such a huge opening right now. I can't believe that Northern Gaming Blue aren't going to take that swap. They go for the swap. Blizzo sees the swap coming, preemptively gets that die by the sword up. He knows he's in a 3v1 situation, but that die by the sword will be fading. They commit the killing spree now as well, but he gets feared on the killing spree. Blizzo caught into that bash. Did they have enough damage to kill Blizzo here? He uses that regen heal, trying to heal back up. Swapsy grounds the incoming CC, but Waz follows it up with another sap. I don't think they have enough CC to kill Blizzo. A really amazing read there by Blizzo to stay alive. They're trying to keep the CC chain going on Botar, but I don't think they're going to get too much more done. They're actually making maybe a swap on Botar, trying to bait some more cooldowns out of him. They're not going to get those cooldowns. Swapsy popping his Ascendants now, trying to get some pressure maybe on Raikou. They've got him down below half HP. He does not want to lose this game without blocking for sure. He's pulling back. Now they switch over to Waz. Botar is actually pulling in here aggressively. Goes for the bash on Minpoike with no trinket, but this could trigger attack on Botar. He's playing very aggressive. Raikou down to half HP. Minpoike down at half HP. So much damage coming up from Toxic Youth there in go, go, go mode right now. Botar preemptively iron barking, trying to keep his team team aggressive here, trying to keep them pushing forward. Swapsy trades out that Shamanistic Rage now as well. No CC on Botar. Toxic Youth need to keep moving forward. Botar trinkets the blind. They're trying to kill Raikou. He blocks at 20% HP. Now they switch their eyes over onto Waz, forcing that evasion now as well. They're just killing it through it. Stormbolt forcing the trinket out from Waz. Ironbark now out from Minpoike, and Toxic Youth suddenly turn on the power. They are striking back so hard.
Yeah, Toxic Youth made so many great plays there to survive and to be so far ahead, and now NG Blue are struggling. Minpoike went for the drink, but all it really achieved was having to trinket. The Cloak of Shadows now also used from him so that he can get that offensive pressure going, but really nothing happening for NG Blue. They are so far behind him. Minpoike, you can see him in the back of the room. If they swap to him there, he's going to really struggle. The smoke bomb now onto Blizzard. This has to be the game. He has the trinket, choosing not to use it, and Rage Regeneration is going to be enough for him to survive. Botar now pushing in, gets the bash onto Minpoike with the Stormbolt on Waz. He doesn't have evasion for this. He's in a lot of trouble. Recklessness from Blizzo. He actually walks into the Rov again, unfortunately for him. Unable to completely finish off the game here. Minpoike still struggling with his team, and Toxic Youth are just looking so dominant. They have trinkets on both the DPS, so many cooldowns available. Literally the only one they don't have is the Botar trinket, which was traded for blind. Now Waz in the full Stormbolt. He's just going to go down here. I'm back on 20%. I can't believe he survived there. He could have been executed if Blizzo was a bit faster. The Blade Storm to deny any follow-up CC from Raikou, but NG Blue, they are surviving, but Minpoike is so
Yeah, Raikou actually had to use his Deep Freeze Poly on Swapsy to keep Waz alive. Now he doesn't have that to initiate an attack. If they're going to go for something, it's going to have to be very reckless. Pre-Ironbark on Swapsy. I'd maybe like to see them swap to Botar. They don't have any time really to keep this game going. Waz is down to half HP. Toxic Youth are just trucking forward. They want to take this series. They want to take the championship. Botar caught in that Deep Freeze. They stopped the Ring of Frost. Really well done from Swapsy. As soon as he comes out of that kidney shot, there's going to be so much damage for Minpoike to deal with. Minpoike going for some clones. That clone is the only saving grace, stopping Blizzo from attacking. Minpoike is desperately trying to displace to get a drink. He's very far away from the fight. Will he be able to do it? The Toxic Youth are blinking in to try and stop that drink. Botar's the only one that can do it. He picks up the Shadow Sight Eyes. He finds Minpoike and pulls him out. Nice read from Botar to pick up those Shadow Sight Eyes, get him out of stealth, stop the drink. They can swing the momentum so hard in their favor right now. Swapsy, I wouldn't be surprised to see him Shamanistic Rage right now. Yeah, just trades it out at half HP. They need to keep trucking forward, but maybe it's not even enough. He's just getting completely annihilated by Waz, down to 30%. Trades out the Ascendance to finish off Minpoike. Minpoike gets out of line of sight, barely in time, but he has no mana. They swap over to Raikou, who's at half HP now. Raikou getting annihilated, forced into his second block, and what can NG Blue do to pull this back, Adrian?
Yeah, it's going to be so difficult. 3 trinkets, though, are down for Toxic Youth. This is the win condition. If they can just set up the CC, but they have to survive at the same time. No Shamanistic Rage on Swapsy. I'd love to see. This could potentially be it. Can they get the CC? Again, preemptive Ironbark from Botar. He has been on point with these today. They don't follow up the CC either. That was maybe NG Blue's chance to take this game. There was nothing left now. Minpoike, he's going for the drink. Raikou does have an ice block available. He just snapped, so he's going to have one of those. The sap actually onto Botar. Not entirely sure how that happened. They're going to set up onto him here. He actually got Vigilance there as well. He's in a lot of trouble here. The Spike Skin comes out. Is it going to be enough? He's in normal form. He has no hearts, no Vigilance available. Both the DPS are CC. Is this the turnaround from NG Blue? It's going to be the game. Maybe the rallying cry can't come out because of the CC. 10% HP. Botar goes down. I didn't actually see how they even set that up. Amazing sap coming out from Waz. I'm not sure. I literally want to see the replay of that because I just
ultimately come down to game number 5 between Toxic Youth and Northern Gaming.
Yep, so we couldn't have had a better asker. Like we said, we kind of thought Toxic Youth kind of threw away the last series after they fell so far behind. Ruins of Lordron is the final resting place for one of these teams. Someone will go home with $3,000 for the weekend. Certainly something no one's going to be complaining about. They've both locked in their position for regionals already. This will be the deciding game between NG Blue and Toxic Youth.
Yep, Raikou moving in stealth. Blizzo just jumping around on his Raven Mount, intervening. Swapsy there trying to eat the sap, but Waz doesn't fall for that intervene. Drops the mass stealth now as well. Botar is very far from his team. I wonder if Waz is going to try and find him. I don't think you would ever guess where Botar is, at least with him that far in the starting room. So now he comes out as he sees the sap. I'm wondering if he's going to pre-Ironbark. The pre-Ironbark seems to be wasted every time, so he goes for the pre-Ironbark, but I feel like Shamanistic Rage is going to be needed to use anyway, so they do use both cooldowns. Maybe it was needed in this situation. Feels like Waz and Raikou have a lot more damage than in the previous game. Botar caught in a Ring of Frost. Can Minpoike get a clone? Doesn't go for it. They go for the blind instead. This is the more standard play. If you get Shamanistic Rage, use blind to get Botar's trinket as well. It's a 2-for-1.
Yep, so they get the cooldowns that you would expect. They get the Iron Bark, the Shamanistic Rage, the Trinket. Perfectly reasonable opener for both sides. There'll be Botar, of course, he's perfectly happy with that because he knows Blizzo will save Swapsy on the next setup should he require it. Ryoku taking a bit of damage. Actually, the Smoke Bomb not achieving it too much on the side of NG Blue. This was like another way they're going to trade out the Trinket Vigilance here. That's the question. They don't land the CC onto Botar, and nice. They try and get the Trinket from Swapsy, but it hasn't worked out on this occasion. Either Shadow Meld on the Cyclone from him. So actually they're going to be able to hold on to that Vigilance. The Cyclone now onto Swapsy. Can they swap up the CC onto Botar? It's going to be difficult with him free.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Blizzo storm bolting Minpoike, trying to get some aggression rolling their way. Minpoike stampedes away. He should be able to kite this very easily. Raikou looking for some polymorphs onto Swapsy. Looks like they might make a swap, but Blizzo already has full hots, so Botar expected this swap, and I don't think Northern Gaming are going to commit to it. They actually sheet Botar fully out of that Cyclone, and now Swapsy could be in a 3v1 situation. Where's the kidney shot? We don't see it out from walls. Actually swapping on Botar. They're trying to catch him off guard. He has no trinket, no Barkskin. He could be in the same situation. Doesn't look like he's going to go down the same way. He's in a much better position at the tomb. They do get the Barkskin. They've got the trinket out of the way. They got Blizzo's trinket as well. So another swap on Botar could be the end of the game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he won't be able to get the Vigilance off because of the trinket being down, assuming they just deep freeze Blizzo on the next swap. And here it comes. Gouge onto Botar. This is so clean. I love it. Oh, he actually, beautiful play from Swapsy. He grounded the Polymorph, so they were potentially able to get the Vigilance off, but they still didn't get it. Blizzo unable to be re-CC'd, though he was able to reflect the Cyclone in between, so Minpoike making a small mistake there with his timings. Botar going to follow up with the bash. They can turn this around onto Poike. He's in a lot of trouble. He uses the trinket out barely in time. And actually, the DR Stopper, he could still go down here. NS comes out. So many beautiful plays from the side of Toxic Youth to survive that, but Botar is now out the woodshed, has to trinket the next kidney, blind onto Blizzo. They might still be able to get the kill here. He doesn't have the Buckskin for 2 seconds. This could easily be the game down to 10%. Buckskin comes out barely in time. Is he going to fall anyways? He will. NG Blue are your champions, despite some brilliant plays out of Toxic Youth and a phenomenal series. NG Blue pulling out huge, taking down Botar at the end through the Buckskin.
Yep, Northern Gaming Blue set up some Druid swaps, kind of put Botar in an awkward situation. Botar was playing very aggressive. He blinked in with his team. He tried to stay next to them as much as possible, but ultimately stayed too close to Waz. He's basically a shredding machine, turned Botar into shredded wood as he's playing a Rusted Druid, and they are a tree. It's getting late. Yes, good. That was not the most hyped way to end the series. Regardless, Northern Gaming Blue are the champions of the European Qualifying Cup number 3. Toxic Youth will be going to the regionals as well, despite losing here. And we've got our 8 teams for the European regionals later this year. It's going to be an amazing tournament. It will be in Legion, so these teams need to get ready for that, practicing their new strategies, their new compositions. It's going to be a fresh breath of air, I think, for the WoW esports scene. I'm very excited to see that. This tournament was phenomenal. Northern Gaming Blue were knocked down by the Yacht Boys at 3-0. They struck back in the losers bracket. They fought all the way, and they will claim the championship ultimately over Toxic Youth.
Yep, so fantastic to NG Blue. I'm so happy to see them stepping up at